Is Disney buying the NFL? That is the question of today's video. Okay, not really, but they did get us to watch the first half of a football game to see the new trailer for Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, which is full of tantalizing new glimpses into the final installment of the trilogy. Time for a deep dive.
As my friends.
The Last Jedi left us with more questions than answers. After spending almost the entire movie on opposite sides of the galaxy, we finally saw Finn and Rey reunited. Finn had spent most of the movie with Poe, trying to protect the Resistance from the First Order, and Rey spent most of her time badgering Luke Skywalker to rejoin the fight against evil. J.J. Abrams has confirmed that The Rise of Skywalker won't see our heroes spread out quite so thin this time, but will definitely feature more scenes of them all working together as a team, on what he described as an adventure that the group goes on together. This trailer gives us a classic, clear-as-day picture of just how the crew will reunite, on the Millennium Falcon, of course. Aside from the shot of them all settling down in the cockpit for another day at the office, they have a more emotional moment too. C-3PO stands, with wires coming at the back of his head, looking wistfully, if robots can have a wistful look, at his little crew. He is taking one last look at my friends. Why is it the last look? Aside from being the final movie, there's been a rumor circulating that C-3PO will be sacrificing himself to save the day. Specifically, he'll be sacrificing his memory in order to translate the Wayfinder. As for the bad guys, in the beginning of a bit of an upheaval, after Snoke was taken out, a power struggle had started to emerge between everyone's bad boy and Darth Vader's superfan Kylo Ren, and the buttoned-up but no less sinister Commander General Hux. These two don't strike us as the most collaborative or willing to compromise of the bunch, so we can only assume that their conflict has gotten more heated. Not to worry though, because they'll have someone more powerful to defer to in The Rise of Skywalker. Sheev Palpatine has been brought back by a device called the Wayfinder. Now that he's alive, he will likely be in supreme command, so there probably won't be any more petty squabbles among the lower ranks. So what's new with Palpatine since his resurrection? Aside from the fact that he's got a great new chair to sit in, he also has a big, insidious plan. In the trailer, we get a brief snip of dialogue from the returned evil Emperor. He says, "Long have I waited, and now your coming together is your undoing." You can also bet that the erstwhile Emperor is not going to be at full strength. The leaked rumors around Sheev have centered around the fact that he's going to have a mechanically enhanced robot arm and some sort of medical mobility scooter throne. The trailer seems to confirm the existence of a hovering contraption from which a hooded Palpatine-esque figure looks down upon Rey. Will they team up? This is the question that's been plaguing fans throughout the will they or won't they history of Kylo and Rey. As the final film of this newest trilogy, they're obviously going to have to either will or won't, and ever since we saw Rey with her flippy red lightsaber, fans have been worrying that it might be the wrong kind of will. After the latest trailer, there's a new hope. There is one shot in which it seems that Kylo and Rey are working together. Although it's short, it looks like the two of them both break some sort of statue with their respective blue and red sabers. And our bet is that it's the statue of Darth Vader. It still doesn't explain why Rey has a red lightsaber, so we'll just have to wait and see. 2019 is the year of horses in pulp culture, and Star Wars is no exception. The bumbling bad boy John Boyega, or Finn, gets to mount a very big, very furry, and very tusked horse in the new trailer. It's also important to note the fact that he and a few others are riding these horses on top of a Star Destroyer. Depending on what type of Star Wars fan you are, this is either the best or the worst news possible. Here's to hoping that the end of the movie plays out exactly like Hot Fuzz. The fact that the Wayfinder has brought Palpatine back is enough to present us with the possibility that there could be more resurrections. Aside from the real-life casting of someone who's no longer alive, there are now a huge amount of characters who could be brought back from the dead, especially considering that the so-called Last Jedi might switch sides. The good side of the Force could be in need of some balance. While Star Wars sequels have a long history of taking place 2 or 3 or 4 or even 10 years after the films that preceded them, giving the characters a ton of time to grow and change, and for the universe to change around them, and making it necessary for the iconic scroll at the beginning of the movies to be there to catch audiences up, The Last Jedi bucked tradition and took place right after the events of The Force Awakens. But this time, J.J. Abrams has confirmed that The Rise of Skywalker will in fact take place about a year after The Last Jedi ended, which means that there has been a lot of time for some pretty big changes to have taken place. With the final trailer out, there are only 2 months left to speculate, so let's get to it. Will Kylo and Rey team up? If so, which side will they be fighting for? Will this movie resurrect more than just Carrie Fisher? Let us know in the comments below and subscribe to CBR for more breaking Star Wars news.